I have and we're back to recording. So what I have learned is I'm learning to let go of old ideas, old ways of doing things, old connections, old things, um, even my old self. I'm in this transformation process and it is impacting absolutely every area of my life. And so I think staying connected to this group, supportive group, is helping me to stay grounded, to dream beyond my wildest dreams, but also that sense stepping forward in faith of I know that there's something, I'm finally finding my true self. I've heard that women in their 50s do this, so that they finally kind of connect with who they are. And I'm just excited to see what happens next and to see what happens with everyone else and what happens next.
Such treasure, such a treasure. And yes, Tam and I go back way back. She's moved a million times. And when you know somebody and you know that whatever they've touched has been remarkable to learn from, but when you really don't have a chance to dial into the business like details, I was missing all that she had created as a friend because it's like, hey, how are you? How are you? I'm good. I'm good. Everybody okay? Everybody okay? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just such surface stuff. And to see what she's created and see where she's going and the difference she can make in other teachers from what she's experienced as actress, mom, and now both. You know what I mean? Like she went from those different ranges. It really takes the ability to see that we all are given a gift of genius. We're all given such an a numerous amount of gifts that we are able to share. And it becomes like what comes to her natural is not at all natural to me. You can see clearly the gifts are different and they're such blessings. So it's been so exciting to see what you're doing, how you're doing, the disruption that is happening from her previous CEO of where she was working and how he is like literally it's just it is. There's such a transformation. It's incredible. And and I'd probably say this is where I stand out the most with social media, that so many times we want to step away from something. It's frustrating. We don't understand something. And yet that consistency, the conversation, like I've been tagging her, she's been posting things on her own, always, sharing. And yet there's this stir. And one of my favorite moments was when she came to Michigan and went to a wedding and like family said this. I, nothing. They see nothing. Nothing's happening
Nothing.
over here.
Crickets.
And then there's these younger people that were at the wedding. They were like, hey, Tam, I happened to see this. And then the conversation changed. So the lesson here is that your consistency matters, even if it doesn't feel amazing. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. That ripple effect is such an incredible blessing. And somebody had said it before. People may not comment, they may not like our love, and yet they're still watching the
Yay.
views. Like that when you do a reel or a video and you're like, wow, 100 people viewed this, but
Yeah.
nobody liked it
117 people watched that.
yeah,
Viewed
exactly. You're
that
like,
many
okay.
times.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So thanks for sharing. And thanks for
Mhm.
choosing in.
Thank you.
Miss Heidi from Colorado.
Hello, I am Heidi. I am mom to two teenage girls. Um, I like to call myself a multi-passionate faithpreneur. I do a lot of things, um, among which are I lead a group here in Colorado Springs of um, female Christian business leaders or leaders. Um, and I also am a spiritual mentor for moms who want to rediscover themselves. Once your kids get older and you actually have time or take the time to focus on yourself and figuring out who you are again after a lot of years of just momming. And yeah, what I loved about the collective before was just learning a lot of things about myself that I guess I knew, but never really thought about. And so just sort of more the realization of things. And like Stacy said, you just keep going back to those parts that really spoke to you. So that's what I keep doing, is going back. And I think my biggest takeaway from that was that I'm my own VIP. And I just like saying that because my mantra for a lot of years has been, don't let anyone steal your joy, choose happiness and all that stuff. But I like being my own VIP a lot more. I'm my own VIP and I don't need anybody else to make me the VIP. So that being said, what I'm looking forward to now is just, like everyone else said, to the growth and just, other women to experience what we've experienced and are still experiencing, and just to share that with them.
So very special. And aren't you going to be launching something here soon?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you launching?
I am going to be launching my coaching.
Yay!
Yay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I'm super excited, super nervous. It's kind of scary to say it out loud.
It'll get easier. The more you say it, the more you do, the more, you spend time in it will make a big
Yeah.
difference for
Yeah.
sure. So thank you for being our guide, and thank you for your journey, especially like a great point that Heidi has traveled so much this last month, and the in and out of like the work side, the personal side, and choosing in for development and transforming her like actual physical space, I think is really important, and it can kind of throw us off a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're missing your routine on all things, and yet recognizing how to grow throughout those times and how to root yourself in the spots that you know that you need, which is
Yeah.
only going to be that much greater for you to share, because now you're working from experience too. And the juggle of still being a mom, because that doesn't change.
Yep.
Awesome. So good. So we have two people, which I would love to hear from
Uh-oh.
Tracy, because she has been a part of our worthy collective. Oh, gee, I think she only might have missed one. So Trace, would you like to share a little bit about you, what you're working on, and what you overcame about
Okay,
10 days ago?
so I'm Tracy, and I decided to recreate myself here in Miami 3 years ago, nearly 3 years. Time flies when you're having fun, or in the middle of chaos. And so I'm a full-time student studying psychology, and I decided to do an extra credited course in mental health, neuroscience, and aging. And I'm in my last semester. Can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. And I'm opening doors. I'm opening doors. I found that I'm passionate working with students with neuro variations. And this week I had a win because I was able to not be the professor's assistant, but actually take the class. And I love the students. So I was reflecting back on working with the students. They love me, I love them. And honestly, they're the best kids. Like, they're not any trouble. They do their work, and you're there to support them and mentor them and stuff like that. So it's really great. And so um, I think, well, they're trying to open up a position for me. So I've been trusting. I've been trusting in my process. My last semester, before my semester, I was super anxious, but now I'm looking forward to it. I've got lots of stuff going on, and I feel I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. And the Worthy Collective has been part of that journey as well for me. I feel like I have a community that I can lean on, and without you ladies, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today. So I just have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And what I'm looking forward to is the next 3 months.
So good.
Oh, and next week I won't be able to join because I'm actually going to Punta Cana next week with my new man.
Ooh la la.
That sounds
So I will be
fantastic.
missing it, and so I'll be having some cocktails. I'll be thinking of you ladies.
Good.
Toast. Do a toast for us.
Yes.
I certainly
Cheers.
will.
Cheers. And Miss
So yeah,
Grace, do
that's what's been happening.
you want to
Oh,
share
it's
Sorry.
fake
first?
frozen.
I think so.
Do you want to
Again.
share about how you took the test early?
Oh. And hers is the one that does the recording. It says it's still recording, so maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
There she is.
there she goes.
Do you
She's
want to
moving.
share about how you took the test early?
Oh yes, that test. Oh my gosh. All of those, I swear, I promise you, it was all the prayers, and you girls were in my head. Like seriously. No, like all the prayers and like my techniques, and oh my gosh, it was just incredible. Because I did fail at once, and I was in my last few weeks, and without this test it meant that I wasn't going to I wouldn't get my degree and I wouldn't get my visa. And I tell you what, I was praying, I was studying, but just like all the tools that you ladies gave me, and all the prayers and all the just like my guardian angels, I tell you, I felt it all, and I passed. And I used the imagination technique, where what I was going to feel like afterwards, and it was all of that and more, like in silence, because I was in a room with other people, and it was like full on silence and stuff. I'm like, and like I'm crying. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I went into the department and told them, the access department that I'm part of, doing my internship. And they were just so excited for me. And they're like, okay, so, we want to open up a door for you. And yeah, it was just incredible. So yeah, thank you.
And the only way that happened, Trace, is that you shared something with us.
Yes.
Like, you know what I
yes.
mean? Like, that's the part that people don't realize, that to receive, we must ask. And then when you asked, you allowed other blessings to come in.
Yeah. And the other triggers. Oh, sorry. Is Maggie still talking?
I don't know.
It's
It's frozen again.
And I don't know how many calls that we had where I had so many triggers, and so many aha moments and support and clarification because of what was said. And you don't feel alone. You're not alone.
Right.
Yeah, you're not alone at all. So
True.
So glad, so good. And when you get into the app and you're able to see more, and which I'll share here in a few minutes, of what we're taking it to another level of support that we didn't have before, because we didn't have automation. We didn't have those tools. We did the best we could with what we could, And sometimes we have to go with it. And Declan keeps asking me, I don't understand why you keep launching things, Mom. I'm like, well, that was like worthy 1.0. And now we're taking it. It doesn't feel like 2.0. I feel like it's max more than that. But we learned from that the communication, the opportunity was there, but some people were missing out because Facebook was not their
Mm.
level of communication. So yes. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing you and being willing to speak up. We've all learned from you and your willingness to, approach new things, education, growing yourself, meeting new people, and not being closed off to someone just because
Mm.
you've been hurt. That's so easy to do, whether it's friend, romance, whatever in relationship, and you have stepped into it in such a big way. And I would say that it's exciting, that your willingness is inspiring.
Thank you.
So good. So Miss Lise, if you're willing, would you like to share? Because I know in this, you haven't necessarily been able to join us live, but you did take a
Oh,
new job that was so great. So if you want to share a little bit about you and, why you said yes into the Worthy Collective and what you're excited about.
so I'm a mom of three amazing kids, older kids. My kids either live really far from me or super close. And Mags, I haven't told you, Hunter's going to be coming even closer to me because I'm hoping to buy a house. I should know Monday or Tuesday. Um,
Oh,
but I came from police departments. I was the administrative assistant for two departments, one here in Milford, the other one in South Lyon. And I went to a convention with my fiance where chiefs of police go. And the CEO of Virtual Academy came up to me and was like trying to put a table together. And I just looked at him. I'm like, you need help. About an hour later, he goes, you need a job. And I'm like, well, I kind of already have a job. Like, I really love my job. I loved being part of a police department. And he's like, all right, let's talk money. And we talked money, and I made a $20,000 raise in 5 minutes.
wow.
I work from home. I still work for police departments because Virtual Academy is a training platform for police departments, 911 dispatchers. So I'm still able to deal with police departments, which is amazing. I had a face-to-face last Tuesday with 20 chiefs, and the ones that were already using our platform were like, she's amazing. She's the one you need to deal with. Like, she made it flawless, which was really awesome for me. So yes. So, and then I literally have been with them for 12 weeks. And my first quarter, the CEO actually called me and said, I don't know what you did. I don't know how you did it, but you're the only person starting the company to make the most commission on their first 8 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, he's like, I don't know how you did it, but keep it up because you're just doing awesome. So yeah.
Awesome. And it hasn't been without challenge. She has a
No,
beautiful human who is choosing to, lead in a different way than, sometimes you hope that someone would lead. So it's not like it's that my share on this, because I know in this, when people watch this, to realize that everything is not going to be roses.
right.
I mean, with every single rose that has a beautiful smell, it has some thorns, and that's how
Yes.
they're made. And so you've maneuvered through that, space, but you've had to call in yourself and been like, I freaking know this. I know this environment. This is my background.
And then
So
I went back to school also to get my bachelor's. So let's just add another thing to that.
yes, exactly. But you're growing. Your willingness is incredible. And that's the part that is so important and part of my message today. So I kind of knew that. I didn't know you were going to be on, but I was hoping, like these parts that can be so helpful. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for
You're
being a
welcome.
part of this. And in the midst of your Sunday. And, you know, it's so good. Look at you guys with all this tech stuff. I love it. I love it. Let me make sure. Did I miss anybody else? I don't think that Miss Martha made it on. Yet I know there's a lot of people who are like, replay, replay. I'm like, okay. So we have a couple of things I thought I would share. I'm going to share our message, and then I'm going to share a little glimpse into the community. If you haven't gotten into the community, if you're someone who's watching and want to know more about what we're doing and what's in it for you, which is our theme is WIIFW. If you've ever heard it, it's what's in it for me. Like, what is this about for me? Well, it's more about the we. And Tam said this yesterday, and we were like, that is it. Because, you know, it's important to know what's in it for us personally, yet there is something sacred about the we part, because the Satan wants us to be alone. It's true. And in the darkest of our hours, of times, situations, heartache, whatever we're struggling with, we're already alone in our mind, which you should never go in. It's like a bad neighborhood. You should never go in alone. And so when you go in with your faith and you step in to a circle of people that can link arms with you to support you through it, we are greater. We are absolutely greater. And so I'm going to grab my notes here real quick. Today's message, rise and shine, celebrating wins and unlocking your inner power. And so what we've shared with you is from a number of women. Our guides today, Tamara, Stacy, Heidi, Lori is visiting a sweet friend and participating in a really special event for her friend's child. And so she's not with us. She's here in spirit, of course, always through us. And Tracy has been the most consistent in our Worthy Collective, just so exciting that shows up when she can with all of her schedule, her travels, and her educational commitment. And Lise today was sharing your story of what you've done and overcoming that space where she was going to retire from the police department. And then all of a sudden this turn happened, and it's a door that gets open. And I love how Tracy said she opened the door. She was willing to, you know, have you ever gone to a door sometimes and you're like, oh, it's not a push, you have to open it. You know, it's kind of awkward. You're like, okay, whatever. Just let's go. You know, you don't stop to think much about it. We normally feel like we want to push certain doors, but certain doors need to be the other way. And so understanding what's so important about us growing together is that there's something special when you recognize that there are other like-minded people who are going through some of the same limiting beliefs, the same challenges, the same choice matter. Like Tam and I have gone to a different space and place than we ever have before, that our faith is taking us in different directions with relationships, and we're able to talk and share and, you know, go places that we hadn't been before. And she's going to be working on a course for parenting. I mean, the amount of goodness that is coming from this group that is going to be just, I mean, we believe that when you come into the Worthy Collective, you're going to go, wait a second, it's not just a Sunday call. No, it's more than that. This is special. And if you're busy on a Sunday, we understand there's times that are so challenging. Finding time in a calendar is so challenging. It will never not be challenging. Even when I talk to some friends who are retired, they are saying that they are the busiest in retirement. It's the best therapy. Yes, I do believe. And so what's important to know is that when you commit to your calendar for 1 hour a week, and when you do that in the middle of a Sunday, I know it's challenging. Trust me. This whole thing of like trying to figure out how we were going to do today. And I had my plan together and I checked my Starbucks and was so excited. I even saw the outside. I thought I had plan A was Starbucks. Plan B was the outside. And then plan C might be in the car, you know, drop off the fam, whatever, but use their Wi-Fi, you know. Well, closed. And then it was like, pivot, that. You know what I mean? Like that we're constantly pivoting and giving ourselves grace and realizing there are other options and alternatives. Yet this is sacred because there's nothing better, I believe, than in a space when you hear other people's stories of how they're thriving in situations that they didn't expect. If you were thinking about going back to school, you just heard from two women who are like, I'm in. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And Tracy even shared that she didn't even pass that test. So it wasn't like, oh, I got this. I know everything. No, that was part of the reason why she was so scared to take it early because she was playing the replay of before. And we were stepping into her going, sister, you've done the work. You showed up and you call in God, you call in angels. We've learned all the options that there's more than just you alone by yourself taking this test. And that is exciting. It's exciting to know that you're among other people who are doing it. So what I want to talk to you today about, we kind of touched on it yesterday with our guides collaboration. The difference is that you both chose into something. Lisa chose into a conversation, and then the conversation went another way. And then she was honest with what she really needed, which, you know, income isn't everything, money isn't everything. It gives more choices. And for her to make that opt out of that direction and that road, she knew what that line was. She knew what it was. And she was able to have a conversation about it and win a different direction. And it gave her even more income and greater blessings than she could ever imagine because it's commissioned. So the thought is that if the choice you make and you step into it gives you greater opportunity than you could ever imagine when we choose to stay in one place. We block blessings. We absolutely block the blessings that are in store for us, that God's created such opportunity. Like Lisa's talking about a house because she has a foundation of income in a different way that is 100% her creation. It's hers. No one else can own up to, oh, I think I helped you with that. No. She made it happen. She showed up. Sometimes there were tears, sometimes there was frustration, and probably still will be to a certain degree, but she's figuring out those tools, those resources. She's, you know, creating her routine, her structure to serve herself. And so with that, I want you to think about this, that if you had a dream on your heart, and you recognize there's a certain number of choices that need to be made. And if you were to actually journal on some of those things, like if you said, I dream of blank, what are all the choices that you need to make to be able to make that, you know, to put that in order? Like it's easy. She wants to have a house, right? So that she's now looking at all the steps. What are all the choices? She had to find a realtor. She had to find her perimeter of what she would allow. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Does it need to have a basement? Does it have to have a certain zip code, you know, in a certain area? Is it going to be here or is it going to be here in space? So you start putting together the tools, the choices, the breakdown of how to get to that spot. And yet, what we get to realize is we get to make a choice. And it's when we don't make choices that things don't happen. Like when Trace said, well, I'm not sure if I really want to take this early. We all need a person in our lives that says, tell me more. Like, what's the benefit in waiting? Because there is a good thing. There is sometimes a good thing. I'm so proud of myself for waiting because I almost jumped into an app last year and it didn't have everything I needed and wanted. And I'm so grateful I didn't jump in because here we are now in a space. I'm so incredibly grateful because it has more than I could even imagine. It's a double blessing because there's more than less. And so recognizing those choices, and it's making a choice. It's absolutely making a choice to not make a choice. Like, nope, that doesn't sound good. Next, but I kept going. I kept going. And here we are. And so I want you to really think about those spots and give yourself grace to not go back too far, because we sometimes want to be like, and this is so good because I'm in the car. Let me look in the rear view mirror. Let me see what's back there. Sometimes we don't need to freaking know what's back there, because we all know what's back there, right? And that is so small right there. Is so small for a reason. You're not meant to see that much of the back. You have a windshield full of opportunities, choices, and spaces that you would never know were possible. And so my thoughts to you today is understanding that opportunity of choice is incredible. And a lot of times we're on the edge of our seat for choice. And Tam has said this last week, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. She made choices that she has been harboring. She did interviews. She was working on finding the right people to support her business, and she chose in. So exciting. And Stacy said the same thing. She chose into a financial planner and she committed to a certain amount of investment, and she has done it, even though things have kind of, changed. And so she is committed to that. So when you ask yourself, what am I choosing? How am I making a choice? And what does that look like? And give yourself grace. Let it just be this week. Let it be this week. Let it be to the end of October. We're not saying who you need to be in 2025. I mean, some people love to look forward. Great. But look right today, this next week, look at to the end of the month. Like, look at that in the sense of what do you need to choose into this week? Because that's where you start to make the most incredible amounts of choice, and realizing how significant it is to really be able to make choices. And so, with that, this is our Rise and Shine, celebrating wins, unlocking inner power by making choice and choosing tonight as you go to bed. How are you going to rise tomorrow? How will you rise? What's going to be different? What's going to be better for you? Do you need to start it with a glass of water instead of straight coffee? Do you need to start it with prayer? Do you need to start it, like, some people really have a special place for getting right out of bed and down on their knees and doing email, email, or journaling, or is it taking a step outside to ground yourself? There's so many tools and resources to support you in the very early morning and how you choose in. And I don't think there's anybody other than Heidi and Stacy that get up at the crack, like the earlier crack than of dawn. They both get up so early, and it's for their jobs and it's for their travel, because they're such a long distance away from where they work. And so they're putting in certain spots and listening to certain things, but they're putting it in queue. They're planning ahead for what that choice will be, that when they're in their car, sometimes it's going to be dead silence. Sometimes it's going to be music. Sometimes it's a YouTube listen. You know what I mean? But choosing in the night before what that looks like for your morning makes such a big difference in your preparation. So in that preparation, I thought, watching the clock here, I thought I would share. One moment, please. Making sure that you guys all know what is before us. So excited. Okay, so here, if you have not downloaded the app, and you can still do it on your computer by all means, yet here is the beginning stages we're working on. We're loading more. You'll start here, and it talks about our expectations, communication, non-judgment. This is super simple. Here's a video, and it goes through the steps of start here, step 1, 2, 3. We would love, 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 love to have your interaction, comments, engagement. If you are someone who is in need of prayer, then add literally right here. This is what you could use some support with. Coming in to share your wins. Baby steps. I was able to get the still shots for our group. So this like little clip art here, you guys, I was like, oh my, it was not, it wasn't the right pixels. It wasn't right anything. It wasn't the right size. And I was like, okay, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. It's so tiny. Is it a big deal? No, but I needed to put something that worked because nothing was loading. So just these little things. And I was talking about being grateful. I got Lucy's temperature down, and I was sharing this TikTok that talked about vinegar, that you add vinegar to their feet and their legs, and that helps. So anyway, filling these spots, announcements will be coming in with more events, inspiration, loving stories. I know that Stacy and Tam are working on some different things here. We're going to have a meditation channel. We're going to have a our home remedies. We're going to have, I feel like there was a third. So we'll be adding more accountability. This one was a great read, and it talked about if you do not succeed, try something harder. I thought that was a really good one. And then, of course, always, always, always feedbacks and suggestions. And then here soon, we've got 2 courses, Elevate Your Life and Business. And then over here is our Worthy Collective from what we just finished, the 10 weeks, and it's all in one place, and it has all the replays, and I'll be finishing up all the extra goodies that you got that will be loaded here as well. So here's our replays from each of the Worthy Collectives. So you get to come here. And then I know that Miss Tamara is going to be working on loading some courses. Stacy's going to add some different recipes. Oh, that's what it was. We're going to put recipes and healthier options. So if you have any areas that you feel that would be really important, let us know. We'd absolutely love to hear how we can make this better, greater, and and then the neatest part is that the app is on your phone so that you can be able to have access to this. Do you guys have any questions at this point? Did you guys?
Maggie, is the app available now?
Yes, it is, my love. I'll send you the shortcut because I think, yep, I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, that'll be great.
Yes, yes, yes. Super exciting. So yes, you can load it on your phone, and because that's where we normally are. So yes, 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 yes. So do our guides have anything that they wanted to share? Any takeaways? Anything specific?
I will say that I am learning this week, and maybe it will resonate with others, is that I don't need anyone's approval. I'm on the people pleasing section, and I don't need anyone's approval to move forward. Here's what I got. Honor your anointing. Refusing to conform to limiting beliefs. Embrace your distinctiveness and your unique calling. So that was something that struck me today, was stepping out and recognizing that what makes you different can make you feel alone, but it can also make you unique. And when you're looking for approval from others to make those decisions and move forward, that you're embracing the limitations of that. But if you let that go and embrace who you are, that makes you distinct and unique, then you're stepping into the plan that God has for you. So, and I just thought for today being Sunday, and it was just very much resonating with me. So I look forward to people stepping in to what what their uniqueness is. And it becomes such a blessing when you're willing to open that door and you're willing to share that it's a blessing for us as well. So that's what's in it for we.
That no words, 100%. And that it's such a treasure when you celebrate somebody else and
Mhm.
you really get to see them shine. And we are as unique individually, like our fingerprints are all made differently. The police officer over here can tell us, right? There's no one single fingerprint at all. So the amount of detail that God put into all of us is so purpose-filled. And when the heaviness of the world, our surroundings, the people, the chitter chat in our head sometimes can get to us, we have to look down and go, I was made special, absolutely so significant. And when you're around other people that are stepping into that, that energy and frequency there's nothing greater. It is such a sacred space. And so
It's
we know,
resonating.
oh, we're not for everyone. We're not. And I can see in my life where I have repelled people, and it was my blessing to myself to recognize where we weren't in the same we weren't in the same space of growth.
Frequency.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's such a special opportunity to embody your own uniqueness and how you were made, because it's so significant to have our differences. It is so special, and it makes us more colorful in all sorts of ways, whether it's our voice. I mean, with Lucy, with her fever this last week, she was watching The Voice, and some of the people that would come on, I mean, I was in such tears because I'd hear them say, "Oh, I'm just so old," or "I started at such a young age." And there's always different stories, but it didn't matter, because when the chairs were turned, it was all that mattered is what you heard. Didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter how short, how tall, man, woman. It didn't matter. It was their voice that was expressing a amazing story. And that is the one thing I don't have naturally, is a gift for singing. And so I probably appreciate someone else's voice so much more because of what they can do. And some, I believe, are absolutely gifted, like the ones that would say, I've never sang, publicly. And you're like, what? Like it just blows your mind. And so it's such an inspiration to see someone stepping into their gifts. And so that's what this space is for, is supporting you when you're ready to make those steps. We will never make you do anything. This is your own journey. We love to be surrounded by those who are open, ready, willing, they want to gather, they want to grow, and they want to be inspired. So thank you, ladies, for sharing today. Thank you for sharing your space, your time, your yourself. Thank you for sharing
Energy.
yourself. Yes, your energy. It's such a treasure. Would you guys mind if I end in prayer?
Not at all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this space. Thank you for this space that we've all taken today, whether it has been easy, simple, or more challenging. We are grateful that we are here. We're grateful for those who come before us, those that have come with us, and those are going to come after us, those who listen and watch later and choose to join when they're ready. We're thankful for each of our journeys, that we light the way. We give ourselves the opportunity to see where we can grow and where we can learn, and all that comes from the opportunity of gathering together and being inspired by those who are open to the transformation and the change that leaves us greater and better, just like a butterfly that becomes something extraordinary. And that's what we want and we desire for every woman who chooses into this sacred place. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, ladies. Have the most wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Amen.
Thank
Thank
you.
Love you guys.
you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Love you.
Love you too.